Welcome to Frankly, My Dear, the podcast that explores just how bananas things were in classic Hollywood. Classic Hollywood was wholesome, right? People talk about the films with such nostalgia and wish for those days back. But what I find more interesting is the seedy underbelly, the backstory, the movie trivia, the backdrop of those films and what went on behind the scenes. These were real people. They had their own stories. They soldiered on to create these films that you so love, and I appreciate even more now by knowing their lives and struggles. So join me as we uncover the mystery and peel back the velvet curtain of classic Hollywood to not just highlight the scandals, but the triumphs of these film giants. Hello, welcome to today's podcast. Today we are going to be talking about mermaid films and kind of other influences in our writing. Joining me today is Kelly. I don't know how to say your last name.
No one knows how to say my last name. It's pronounced Guentner. I also go by Kelly Edwards when I'm writing my superhero novels. So,
okay.
And I go by Hey You. I answer to Black Canary, Wonder Woman, because I'm also a cosplayer. I'll answer to anything.
Okay, Kelly. So there is kind of a magic around mermaids, I feel, and there's definitely been a progression through cinema. I learned probably about 6 years ago that they actually made 2 mermaid films in 1948. They were trying to, they were directly competing, and then I believe the one that made Mr. Peabody and the Mermaid tried to sue the people that did Miranda, saying it was like a ripoff or something, because they were making it at the same time. But they were actually based off of different stories. Miranda was based off of a play, I think. Has echoes of an H.G. Wells story, The Sea Lady, I think it was called. So there's other stuff going on there, but it felt like they were trying to outdo each other. In my opinion, there's definitely one that's the better movie in terms of plot. Anyway, so let's start with Miranda. Miranda stars Glynis Johns. And if people don't know that name, she is famous for playing Mrs. Banks in Mary Poppins. She's also in While You Were Sleeping, which I think people forget. Much older, but she lived a very long life, and I really enjoy watching her. She's also in The Court Jester, and there's some other stuff as well. I really liked this movie because of how spunky she is. And I believe you watched this for the first time, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so what were your initial impressions?
Oh my gosh. So Miranda was just unapologetic, and I thought she was hilarious. And the fact that she had no interest in mermen.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but human men, not that great.
Maybe it was just the unknown and the novelty of it that attracted her. Yeah, because she makes it so it opens and this doctor goes fishing. His wife doesn't really want to go, so he just goes on vacation by himself and ends up getting pulled down to her cave. And then she says that he's not the first one, so I found that interesting too. So I'm like, wow, how many dudes has she had there? And then what happened? Like, did they die? Because what were they eating?
Yeah, what
did she let them go? Right, I don't know.
Like she lets her men go very easily, so
right,
a little dark.
Right, she's got kind of like a siren-y thing going on. Then she decides she'll let him go if he takes her on land, and she gets to go experience London. And then she, meets other guys and gets them all under her thrall or whatever. What did you think of the tokens that she gave them of her hair? Did you think that was magic? Like, they were already into her before she did that, but I wondered if there was like an extra element to those.
I think that was definitely magic and just underlining the connection. And also, I think it was funny that not only did he have to bring her on land, he had to buy her clothes. So, like, she's like, you're going to be my sugar daddy. Because
right.
I got to give this guy credit, because when she first kidnapped him, he was at least trying to resist. He's like, I've got a wife. And she's like, okay, well, is she as pretty as me? He's like, she's quite nice looking, which for a British person, that's high praise.
Right. But he didn't want to insult her either, which was probably smart.
Yeah.
didn't want to be like, she's totally prettier than you. That would not have gone over well.
But he was standing up for his wife. Obviously, he
Mm-hmm.
still cheats on his wife with Miranda because no one can resist that mermaid siren call. Like every man falls at her feet, and the women are just
Mm-hmm.
falling to pieces. Though his wife understood because she figured out.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was funny that she had to look it up in a dictionary, though. I'm like, okay. That reminds me of, have you seen Harvey? They look up puka in a dictionary too and then read the lines. So that reminded me of that a little bit too. But yeah, she eventually figures it out. But it's just funny.
You always have to have that moment where they have to have a reason to fill in the audience on the lore, even if it's like, okay, who doesn't know what a
Mm-hmm.
mermaid is? Or a more recent movie, Death of a Unicorn, which by the way is fantastic. The character is Googling unicorns, even though
Oh,
everyone knows what unicorns are.
yeah.
But you got to give the audience that peek into the lore. And so I get it. And I
Well,
think,
and sometimes there's like a weird little tidbit of information that maybe you don't think of, like in the mythology. So that could
mhm.
be part of it too. I also have to mention, I think it was so cool that David Tomlinson is in this, who plays Mr. Banks in Mary Poppins, sans mustache. So he is one of her conquests, I guess. So I thought that was really cool to see them in something else because before I watched this originally, I didn't know that they had worked together before. So I thought that was really fun to see them and get to see a bit of their original dynamic as well and just to see him in something else. And it's just always a trip when you see some of these people like 20, 30 years younger than you're used to seeing them
Right?
because
It
he
is.
looks different, but the same. I also liked that they made fun of his ears, but she gave him a compliment about his ears. I thought that was kind of funny.
In addition to her siren song, she compliments everyone she meets, including the women.
Yeah. And she sounds so sincere about it too. So she's just very she's sassy, but she's very earnest.
Yes.
Um not as innocent as some of the other mermaids in films, I don't think, because she obviously has kidnapped dudes before and stuff and knows a bit about the world before she goes on land, it seems. Because didn't she have books in her cave too or something?
She had
I
books
think
and
that
like
she was reading.
magazines. She
Yeah.
I think she was like getting Vogue. Not Vogue,
That's
but
right, it was
whatever.
Vogue. No, I think it
It
was
was
Vogue.
Vogue.
Yeah.
That's
So she's picking up
hilarious.
stuff from Sea Rex, which seems to be a common mermaid thing, right?
That's hilarious. Like how did Vogue survive under the sea? I mean, I know she had like a grotto, but how did she get it there?
Right. I don't know.
Air bubble.
That it didn't just fall apart. I don't know.
I love the puns, by the way. Like there's something fishy about her. Oh, yes, there is.
Yeah.
And I
Like the
also
tongue in cheek sort of jokes. Well,
and
yeah, there is something fishy.
I love the doctor's wife that when she figures out she's a mermaid, she's so obsessed with what do her legs look like? Like what does her tail look like? And honestly, same girl. If I knew my husband was cheating on me with a mermaid, that would be my first reaction. I'd be like, okay,
Right.
but have you seen her tail? Because I want to see her tail. And that's what Miranda
Right.
says when when she figures out that Claire knows. She's like, oh, well, yeah, I stole your husband, but I'll let you see my tail.
Right. You can see it too. I wondered too, because okay, spoiler, at the end there's a mer baby. I was thinking about this because the two other guys make a point of saying that they haven't seen her legs, right? So I'm like, oh, I wonder if it is the doctor's then, because he has seen her tail. I don't know how the reproduction there works, however, but he knows what she is, and
Yeah.
I wondered if that, like, how far that went, which they didn't like try to explain. She's just kissing everybody, but it's the 40s, so that's about all you get to see. But
That's all they can do. That
right,
that was my question, and you and I talked offline. But there's a sequel, and apparently they don't explain in the sequel. Is the merbaby even
no,
in the sequel?
she is. So what? It's kind of like a Prince and the Pauper sort of thing. It turns out she has like human relate like relatives or something. So there's a woman that looks exactly like her, so she goes and takes her place. And then essentially like drives her fiance away, but apparently he's a jerk. Like I read up on it because I didn't get a chance to rewatch the sequel, but um and then like kind of lines up these other guys that she thinks are better for her or something. So yeah, so it's like a bait and switch. um
Pun intended.
but yeah, that one's called Mad About Men. So yeah, they did another one that's not as well known, but I don't know that Miranda's well known either. If you go looking for mermaid movies, though, that you're gonna find that one. And I just find it a lot of fun to watch, and I think they all like work together really well. And even though the dudes are infatuated with her and in other relationships, it's not as icky as the next movie we're going to talk about. um, because I think she still has some of that like innocence, but she's sassy and she's unapologetic and is like, this is just what I do, and they just love me. And I don't know. And she's just like, these are the guys in my circle who I get to interact with, so I'm just gonna play on that. And she just thinks they're all so pretty, so
and
she's very isolated.
Has to collect them all. And it's very, very clear that all the guys are under a spell, and that's the only reason they're acting like rakes.
Right. And that's why I thought maybe the token had some power, because then they take that off and then they're back with their other paramours. So I don't know. I thought that was an interesting addition to that she was just like I said, like making her harem and just collecting the different guys just to see how it all went, I think.
Gotta collect them all.
Right. I didn't like how the wife started talking about like, oh, we have to tell people. And the doctor's like, what? No. So then she ran away, because what mermaid wants to be put on display? Because she had was it an ant or something that got pickled? That was the joke. She was really old and somebody captured her, because the doctor makes a point of saying that he saw a mermaid once, but she was like a display thing or something morbid.
Yes.
So that was yuck. So that is a very enjoyable mermaid movie. So the other movie, do you have anything else to add about Miranda?
No, I agree. Okay. Miranda is the better of the 1948 movies. Oh, actually, I do. So, Miranda, like you said, Miranda is based on a play. I think it's interesting that the reason the reason the play was written, from what I was reading, and the reason both these movies came about is because there was an article that came out, I think in the 30s, about scientific findings where they were basically theorizing that mermaids were real. So that's why mermaids were in the public imagination. So this stuff doesn't happen in a vacuum. There's usually something in society going on that is the reason why multiple movies come out with similar subject matter.
Right. So they were trying to hit on the timeliness of stuff, of what people were interested in, explore that a little bit. That makes sense. Because those two are just kind of off in their own section of history. Because I mentioned to you, there are a few silent films around like the 1911 to 1915. And then these. And then there is actually one in the 60s that was Frankie Avalon and Annette Funicello's last of their beach movies, and apparently there's a mermaid in that too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so anyway, we're going to talk about Mr. Peabody and the Mermaid, which is, the American answer to the British version, I guess. So you have William Powell, who I usually like. He's in his 50s here, so he's a bit older. And Anne Blythe plays the mermaid, so she's like 20. So this was not an uncommon thing at the time. I mean, probably even now too, but to pair like super old dudes with super young girls was just a thing. But to me, like, there isn't a love story.
No.
I don't know. I don't like this one. I rewatched it and I did find some cool points in it that I can appreciate, but the plot itself I didn't like, so that is the issue, because essentially he hooks her, kidnaps her, takes her back to his hotel, right? And
yes,
puts her in the bathtub, and then she's in there with Bubbles later, so his wife doesn't understand, and she thinks he put a big fish in there. And part of me is like, okay, would the mermaid really like Bubbles, or would that irritate? Like, I feel like that would irritate her skin. But
Right.
so yeah, he kidnaps her, and then he ends up putting her in this pond. Like, I don't know what it's called exactly, but their hotel has this surrounding thing, and in the middle is the pond.
Like a
So he
fountain
just puts
thing.
her in there just to keep her as a pet. I don't know, and teaches her how to kiss. And I'm like, this is weird.
It's icky. It's icky.
Yeah, because he's checking out other women. He's even checking out his wife because he doesn't see her face at one
Oh my
point.
gosh.
And I'm
Right.
just like, what? I don't know. And she's already, what did I say? Like, I don't know, 15, like 10 to 15 years younger than him anyway. But
Yeah. His wife
it
is
just
stunning, by
feels
the
ickier.
way.
Yes, she is beautiful. I don't think I've ever seen her in anything else. I don't know what her name is off the top of my head either. But
His wife is Irene Hervey.
thank you.
I took notes. And the whole movie is basically about midlife crisis. It like the
Yes.
mermaid is a framing mechanism because they're telling this. They started out telling the story by him telling the story, and they're kind of telling it in a way that we're not supposed to be sure if it's real.
Right.
I feel like
Because she is trying, I don't think she's actually trying to get him committed. I don't know, maybe. But she's like, hey, he's totally crazy. So she brings him into like a therapy office, and then, yeah, it's him telling the story. So, yeah, they're trying to justify it by the fact that he's freaking out about turning 50 or something. So I
you
don't know
don't
if it's
go
supposed to
and
be
kiss
like
a
a weird
20-year-old.
trying to recapture his youth thing. I don't know.
That's essentially what they're trying to say, and it does not land.
Mm-mm.
I'm sure it maybe did for some gross men in their 50s,
Right.
but
Well,
yeah,
and
when
to the
he
fact that she can't talk.
no,
So she seems to understand him at certain points when he's talking. So I don't know if she's learning, but she never actually talks. She sings very similarly to the noises Glynis John has. I don't think it's her, but the song in Miranda kind of
Mhm.
echoes in Mr. Peabody and the Mermaid too. It sounded very similar to me. So she sings and she cries, but she doesn't talk. She's got a bit of a
And
jealous
she
streak,
she
but
bites, which I love.
yes.
Okay, so
Yeah,
I
that's
love
funny.
a fierce mermaid.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love that she's jealous because like Mr. Peabody is not worth it.
Right.
Also, it's worth saying Mr. Peabody is not behaving this way because he's under the mermaid spell. He was checking out
Right.
other women before the mermaid came into the picture.
Yep.
He he's just a jerk. He's just a sleaze.
Yeah, he's just icky. And then just to keep her in there, like, I don't. She is interesting. Even though she doesn't talk, there is this interesting, like, innocence, but then also, as I said, like that jealous streak. So she's got a little bit going on, but not a ton because she doesn't talk. She's very expressive with her face, though, or she tries. Like, she really has that, like, innocent facade going on.
The actress does a fantastic job, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
I wonder if she was in silent films before this. I know she's 20, but
Right. I think she's quite a bit younger. So she must have been born, I think it was 1928 she was born. So, like, she's
oh,
literally 20. Yeah. So I don't think so,
baby.
but yeah.
She would have been
The
great in
thing.
silent films because her
Mm-hmm.
her facial expressions are amazing.
Yeah. And two, I appreciate that they did like underwater stuff. So she
Mm.
actually really had to swim with that tail, whereas Glynis John didn't really do that in Miranda. You just had her tail made of tire rubber or something. It was like a tire company.
Oh my gosh.
um, yeah. So I did appreciate that they actually had some underwater stuff, and she actually had to learn and swim with that tail,
That takes
which
work.
apparently took her, yeah, like a week, which doesn't seem like a lot, but I guess she had to get down, not trying to kick differently and stuff. But that was the part of it that I did appreciate, but I don't appreciate the plot.
My favorite part was the end when he's taking her back to the sea and she tries to drown him.
Right. Well, it's funny because in that scene, it's hard to tell. Like, she's pulling him down, but it doesn't seem that vindictive. And then he goes to clarify that she was trying to drown him. Because I was like, well, is she just trying to take him back somewhere?
It,
But then he's underwater for probably too long. So
it's
I don't know.
possible she didn't realize, but
Mm-hmm.
in my head, that was her, because she was a very feral mermaid.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. Like, I am here for
Yeah.
feral mermaids. Mermaids should not be like all pretty and nice.
Yeah, she was more creature than human, really,
Mm-hmm.
which is not what the other ones seem to be.
Yes.
So yeah, that part of it is cool.
And then he goes back to his wife after,
Yeah,
and his wife forgives everything. She's like, oh, well,
they
everyone
always
goes a
do.
little crazy when they turn 50. No, no.
No. You don't get to use that as an excuse that you aged like everybody ages.
And
Get
they
over
have
it.
kids. That's the worst thing. They're poor
Yeah.
kids.
There's a kid that we never see. But
Ugh.
I want to say they think that I think it says they were married have only been married like 15 years or something. So
Ugh.
can't be like a
Also,
grown-up kid, but
Powell also plays Nick Charles from Thin Man, and Nick Charles would
yep.
never do any of this. Nick Charles is husband goals.
Mhm. And I need to
So
rewatch those, but I have heard that about those two that he is super supportive and that those are really cool. Cuz I know he played another detective before that, but it wasn't as part of a husband and wife team. Like that was later. He played Philo, I think it was Vance or something, in like
oh,
older detective stuff, and then they went on and paired him with Myrna Loy, right? So
yes,
yes, I need
I
to rewatch those. So yeah, this is a different character, and I don't like it.
I agree. I feel like the Nick and Nora of the Thin Man, that magic has not been captured in very many stories, and I
Mm-hmm.
adore it. Like, I need to watch the other movies in the series, but the very first movie, just magic. It still holds up today, and it still feels progressive in how it
That's fun.
shows them.
That's
So,
impressive with stuff from, because a lot of times I did a recording last week with somebody about Calamity Jane. So there are some things, in those old movies that don't really hit well anymore.
yeah,
So there are pieces of that, but because then we were talking about, see, now I go off on tangents, but then we were talking about Howard
same.
Keel a little bit. And a movie of his that I can appreciate for the dancing, but I hate the plot is Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. Because essentially they go kidnap all these women.
Ew.
Yeah, but they're dancing literally on like tree logs and stuff. Like that is insane. So it's
Right.
unfortunate that the plot does not help. But that's kind of a weird one. And the singing
Oh,
but yeah, they have very highly skilled dancers in that one. But so sometimes with the older movies, you need to take it with a grain of salt, especially when it comes to plot. Like
very
you can
true.
still have the standard, but sometimes looking at the different pieces of it helps. As I said, like with Mr. Peabody and the Mermaid, like Anne Blythe does a very good job, and the underwater stuff. It's just the other stuff doesn't land well.
Yeah, that's basically
Oh,
how I looked at it.
and then he gives his wife a present at the end, and it's one of the mermaid's like hair comb things. So I'm like, oh, did he like grab that out of her hair like when they were struggling and she was trying to drown him? Like, did he take it? Oh, it's weird.
Yeah. And I think that moment was to show us that yes, the mermaid is real, but ick.
Yeah. Here, let me give you this thing that belonged to this mermaid that I was gonna totally run away with. And I didn't even care. Like, his wife was missing and he didn't even care.
I know.
There's one point he's just gonna run.
All he cared about was whether or not he was going to get framed for her possible murder.
Right. And at the end, he's like, it's totally fine. We're fine. Ugh. Like, he
Nick
did
Charles
care.
would never.
Right?
That's the bar by which you all should be measuring your future or your spouses or significant others. If Nick Charles would not do that to you, you don't want it. Throw the whole man in the trash.
Right. Oh my gosh. So then if we're going chronological, so that Splash would be next.
Yes.
So as I mentioned, there was the one mermaid thing in the mid 1960s. And I think she has legs too on land, which is the other difference with the mermaids of 1948. Neither one of them had legs. Like they
Yeah.
just went on land and were just half fish. But
Miranda getting all the men to just carry her everywhere. Like,
yeah.
queen
I was
behavior.
thinking about that. I'm like, wow, Glynis Johns doesn't have to walk around anywhere this entire movie. Doesn't have to stand. She just gets carried around and put on couches and stuff.
Like, he got her a wheelchair, but she was like, oh, my men from my harem are just going to carry me.
Right. Rather be carried. Oh, I want to mention with Miranda, too, you also have Margaret Rutherford in there as the nurse. She, I find very funny. She's also in Blithe Spirit. I don't know if you've ever seen that one. It's with Rex Harrison, and there's like a whole ghost thing. Like he accidentally brings his first wife back as a ghost. It's really funny. It's like young Rex Harrison, but Rutherford is in there, and she's like the fortune teller sort of thing. So it's her fault that the ghost comes back. But that's the other thing I've seen her in, and I usually find her amusing. She's pretty funny.
Oh, she was great.
Okay, so the 80s. So 1984, Splash. This movie, as I've mentioned, is well ingrained in me. We had it, I'm sure it was my mom, right? That taped it off of TV at some point back when they used to show movies on TV. So it was the edited version. So when I bought it later, there was like a few more swears and like little pieces that they had cut out. So it was kind of funny to see it after watching it so many times as the edited for TV version. But that's what really started my love for mermaids. And, you know, started the whole name trend of Madison for girls too.
Yes.
Because that wasn't really a thing before that. But she has the coolest tail.
It is gorgeous.
So I will throw that out there first. So this one, you had seen this one before, right?
Yes, but it had been a long time, like since I was a kid.
Yeah. Right. So upon a rewatch, were there some things that you noticed that maybe you didn't remember? Some things that you appreciated about it, that you didn't like about it?
Oh, well, when I was younger...
There's a lot of questions, sorry.
No, when I was younger, John Candy and how sleazy his character was went over my head, of course. Because, ew. He starts off, his introduction is that he's excited he got a letter in Penthouse.
Yes, but you first see him as a kid doing the coin dropping thing. But yeah, I didn't know what he was doing as a kid. I'm like, why is he looking at their legs? Like, what? And then I just moved on because he was not the focus of the movie for me.
Well, yeah, no, but I feel like that's...
Yeah, he's gross.
I feel like he's in there to make Tom Hanks look like more of a nice guy.
Oh, maybe.
Because, and okay, I love Tom Hanks. Adore Tom Hanks. But there's not a whole lot to his character.
No, like he runs this business and he has a sleazy brother and he's sad and thinks he's never going to find love and can't love or something. Which, so the intro is them as kids. I don't even know why he jumps off the boat as he can't swim. Like what? I don't know why he jumps off unless he like saw something in the water and decides. Maybe she does have magic. I don't know.
I was thinking it was that mermaid lure.
That could be.
She accidentally lured him in, but they don't explain it.
No, and then she saves him. Or no, she doesn't save him. He can survive underwater while he's with her and somebody dives in and pulls him out. So then he has a mermaid complex his entire life, apparently. So...
Because she imprinted on him.
Right, I guess. Fated mates.
Yeah.
And then he and his brother, mostly him, run this fruit... Oh, is it fruit and vegetables or just fruit? John Candy asked that. No, I can't remember. I think it's both. Oh, because they're sorting onions, so it's got to be both.
Yeah.
So he's there, and then like he's trying to work out this cherry situation because they have these slimy cherries, and then his girlfriend calls him, and I'm like, and then he's like, "Well, I'll call you back." I'm like, "Dude, he's at work. Like, what? And you're moving out?" Like she tells him she's moving out because he doesn't love her or can't say he loves her. And I'm like, That seems like really malicious timing.
Yeah.
I'm going to move out while he's gone, and I'm going to call him for one last ditch effort while he's obviously dealing with,
With
food
work.
crisis. Just seems so weird to me. Anyway, and then he has to get saved again because then he's all sad that he can't find love and goes to this wedding. So then he goes back out to Cape Cod and then he falls out of this boat because Fat Jack left him alone. Oh my
Just
gosh.
swim back to shore. It's only a few
Right.
miles.
I'm gonna be back with the little boat. So like he tries to start the motor because this is like a calming place for him because he associates it probably with her or whatever.
Right.
And then he falls out and gets hit by the boat like a moron, and then just to save him again. Like what? He would have drowned twice. I don't know.
How has he never learned to swim? He's a grown man.
Right, you'd think after that incident with the boat that maybe his parents would have taken an initiative for him to learn, but maybe it was just a deep-seated fear after that. I don't know.
That's what it sounded like. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so she's just immediately, like you said, fated mates. They imprinted on each other and just. But there is not much to his character.
No, just that he's sad and wants love is kind of his only thing.
And he's a decent guy. He's a nice guy. And he's not a sleaze like his brother.
Right.
The bar is
or
on the
crazy
floor.
like Eugene Levy. But Eugene Levy isn't fully crazy either because he's right. But
right. And I do like
so
that
yeah,
he
she
has a little
saves
bit of a
him.
redemption arc.
Yeah. I did find it interesting. So I bought it. I have the DVD, right? Because this is nostalgic for me.
Yeah.
But when I was rewatching it, mostly yesterday, I was watching it on Disney Plus, and I had seen something about this. And this is weird to me because so after she saves him on the beach, she then runs towards the water, and you usually see her butt. They extended her hair to cover it. But then it's weird because her hair's not actually that long. And then there's the scene where she climbs out at the Statue of Liberty, and there's a full-on shot of her butt there anyway. And I'm like, well, what was the point of doing that? Disney's crazy sometimes.
Well, it's probably like PG-13 movies are only allowed so many F-bombs. Probably they're only allowed so many butt shots.
Maybe. Well, in the 80s, stuff getting rated in the 80s was probably different than now. So maybe
Yes.
Disney Plus felt like they had to adjust stuff. But right, maybe it was just one shot. They couldn't have two. And
Yep.
the one was her running. So I don't know.
Yep.
The bounce,
There is a
I don't know.
limit to how many butts I can show in a movie on Disney
Right.
Plus.
I guess.
And the
Disney
limit
Plus
is
is a
one.
funny channel to me because it feels like it should be a kid thing, but then you have all of their other companies. So like you have stuff like this, and you have Marvel, and you know like there's all this adult stuff on it anyway. I don't know.
Well, and
So I found that funny.
They have the
what I
kid
find
setting, but yeah, it's weird.
what I find super cool about her too, and you kind of have to suspend belief, is that she doesn't speak English, and then she learns it from watching TV.
Yes.
So I'm like, wow, she must be like super smart then. Super smart mermaid.
I love that. I also noticed some parallels with the Little Mermaid, so I wonder
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if the people who wrote The Little Mermaid were kind of taking notes from Splash, because The Little Mermaid came after. So, like, she had that undersea collection of human things.
Mm-hmm.
And then the beach scene where after she rescued him and then, like, quick vamoosed.
Oh yeah, she goes into a sunken ship or something and has maps and
Yeah.
stuff in there. Mm-hmm.
And then just the beach scene where he wakes up and it's hazy and he's like, "Oh, did you rescue me?" And then she like runs away. Also kind of reminded me of the Ariel and Eric rescue scene. So I feel like those at Disney were a little inspired when they were, because they must have been, they usually worked on those animated movies like 3 years out. So Splash would come out right when they were starting that. So I feel like they took a few cues. And then
They were originally going to have Ariel's hair was going to be blonde, and then they decided not to do that because they didn't want to be that close.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And said they completely patterned Ariel after, and I don't think it was on purpose, but after Mira from DC Comics,
Oh,
Aquaman's
okay.
wife. She
Mm-hmm.
looks, if you look at them, they look so visually similar, and
Oh,
it's like,
funny.
I know, right? But so I love the comment when Madison is first at the Statue of Liberty and the tour guide is saying, "Use your feet if you have them." I thought that was just like a
Oh, yeah. Oh,
cute
yeah,
little
that's
in
funny.
joke.
Yeah. And then he just freaks out for half a second. I saw
Right?
something too that like where she climbed up, she wouldn't have been able to scale it like that and like been dry enough to have her legs. Like there was a whole like I found something about that, like analyzing how she could have gotten up there. But you gotta suspend belief sometimes for movies. It's a plot device.
I
I
mean,
did
we
find it
can believe that there's a mermaid that can
right.
walk on land, but we cannot suspend belief that far.
Right. Right. That she can scale this cement thing or something. Yeah. I did find it interesting. Like she does really well with that tail too. Apparently, Girl Hannah was super into the Little Mermaid story. So, and this is honestly, this is something I did as a kid too. So she would like tie her legs together and pretend to be a mermaid. So that's why she's so good at using that tail, even though it's like 35 pounds.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
yeah. So I saw something that said she was faster than her safety team. So like they couldn't keep up with her when she was swimming. And I'm like, wow, she's really good.
That's amazing. Good for
Yeah.
her.
So like we didn't have like growing up we didn't have like a big pool, but I would have like those like inflatable ones or whatever and I would totally do that with a towel and pretend to be a mermaid. Yeah.
I love that.
Because of this movie. Oh. But I do like their love story. As you said, he's not like a super in-depth character and there's probably stuff like background stuff we don't know, but they she almost gets put on display sort of, but they save her. So
Right.
and then he goes in the ocean forever,
I love that.
which is interesting. But they're like swimming toward like a city or something, so there must be more, I guess. So then I like it's weird because then I'm like, well, if they do have baby, how does that work with the baby? I don't know. Then she has a tail again.
I have wondered way too often about how mermaids reproduce.
Yeah, it's
Do they
weird.
lay eggs?
Right, and then like the eggs get fertilized or whatever, like fish. I don't know. It's a weird, probably. But it's just interesting because then it's like, oh, he's never coming back again. Here's this thing he couldn't do, apparently, was just swim, which he kind of does at the end. So Tom Hanks has said that he was the 11th choice. There's like a whole list of people they considered before him, which I find interesting.
Oh,
Um, yeah. But I think it was probably good for his career at the time because I don't know that he'd done stuff, I think, but I don't know how much. So I find that interesting with his casting.
oh yeah, definitely a big role for him.
Mm-hmm. Also, the original ending didn't have him go with her. So Ron Howard directed this. Apparently, his wife and the wives of some other people involved didn't like the ending. So then they changed it. And he said later that he was glad that they did because then it completes the love story or whatever instead of it just them separating again. I don't think that would be as satisfying.
That would have been a terrible ending because this is
Yeah,
a modern day fairy tale, and you got to have a happily ever after with that, and
right.
a bittersweet ending where they're separated would
Mm-hmm.
not have landed.
Right. It's like, well, they saw each other at the beginning too, so what was even the point? So we talked the Little Mermaid. So quite a bit different. She's 16, first of all,
Right.
which is weird to think about because then at the end, her dad's like, sure, go marry this human. And I hate humans, but bye. Like, what? That one's a weird, I don't know. It's odd. But I guess they couldn't do, the original fairy tale ending there because that was not a happy ending. Fairy tales are not happy.
Right. People always talk about, oh, I want to get my fairy tale ending, and it's like, which type of fairy tale? No, you want your Disney ending. But
Yeah.
okay, so I will. Let's talk about the Hans Christian Andersen ending for a minute,
Yep.
and I'm going to do a spiel about why it's
Okay.
happier than people think. Sorry. So In the Hans Christian Andersen version of The Little Mermaid, um, he establishes that, and Hans Christian Andersen, first of all, Christian, because, a lot of Europeans were at the time. So he establishes in the beginning that mermaids don't have souls. And so that's one thing that his Little Mermaid wants, in addition to being human. And so when she sacrifices herself for her prince and his happiness, she goes with so yes, at the end she dies and becomes sea foam, but because of her noble sacrifice, gets taken up by the daughters of the air, and the daughters of the air give her a chance to earn a soul.
Okay.
So it is a sad and bittersweet ending, but because mermaids in that universe don't have souls, the fact that she's given a chance to earn her soul and like her way into heaven is a different type of happy ending. So it's not quite as bleak as people think, especially knowing Hans Christian Andersen's faith. When you kind of reframe it that way, it's kind of a hopeful ending.
Sure. It's just not the romantic ending that people are looking
Right.
for. Because I looked it up because it had been a while. Because I knew about the whole sea foam thing, and then I saw something that expanded on that for some sort of air spirit something. I was like, oh, well, she kind of died, but then didn't really die. So I don't know. So I guess that's cool. Or that's a happier thing than her just disappearing, I guess.
And there was a more faithful adaptation, animated version that followed the Hans Christian Andersen version and had her turning into sea foam, but didn't expand on her on that part.
That's not it. Yeah.
So I was a little traumatized for that because I was like, oh, another version of The Little Mermaid. I'm going to watch this as a kid. Because as a kid, The Little Mermaid was my favorite. Yeah. Absolutely my favorite. And I will say, so yeah, she was 16. Unfortunately, that was in the, Renaissance era or whenever it takes place, like olden days. It was pretty common for royalty to marry as teenagers. Not that that's okay. Child bride's not.
Well, and watching it as a child, you think teenagers are old, and they're not. And then you get older, and you're like, yeah, you're a baby.
Yeah,
at 16.
And I will say that Ariel also longed to be human in addition to wanting Eric. So I still think it's a happy ending for her to end up human, even though I think it's funny that as a kid, my favorite thing about her was the fact that she was a mermaid, and like her happy ending was not being a mermaid.
Right. So you're like, oh, you just gave up all your family and stuff, and okay, for this dude that you don't know.
Right.
But that's it happens in movies though, and especially Disney stuff. They don't really know each other that well.
And she has to figure out how to lead a kingdom when she's only been human for like 3 days.
Right. Oh, now you're queen too. Oh, okay.
That's a lot.
Right.
I do love that it's a story. So the backstory of The Little Mermaid, one of the composers was gay during the 80s, so during the HIV crisis. So the fact that it's a story about someone embracing their true self and kind of that transformation story that sheds a little bit of light on Ariel's journey and how Ariel's transformation is really hopeful. And so
sure,
I kind of like that take on it. And I mean, yeah, The Little Mermaid is one of my favorite Disney movies, even though there are others that have come out that have deeper morals and, better developed characters, but the songs are incredible.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a great movie. That was one of my favorites too. I just splash edged it out for whatever reason.
Oh yeah.
Plus I seem to have like a special love for some of the stuff my parents taped or whatever, so that I would then rewatch. Oh, VCR days. Fair. Another one was Darby O'Gill, so I did a podcast on that one because that I would rewatch every year, even though the Banshee was terrifying. Banshee's still terrifying. Like the special effects in that
Interesting.
movie are really great for the 50s, so which is kind of funny. Um, anyway, I segue sometimes. The
Me
other
too.
recent thing I think of with mermaids is the Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides with the mermaids or sirens or whatever you want to call them. They are vicious, which is
Yes.
really kind of fun that they're jumping out of the water to attack them. I thought that was really cool. They're more like aggressive and actively attacking people instead of just singing, which I found interesting.
I love
Um,
that so much. Like,
yeah. And then there's some character progression there too, as you see her fall in love with the guy. I don't remember his name. So she kind of shifts too because like he's her exception basically because she sees a human that isn't what she thought of humans as. So that's kind of a sweet thing. And then she pulls him into the water too. So I don't know.
mermaids do that.
Right?
They fall in love and then they want to take them underwater, and like it's kind of a dark push and pull, and oh, I'm here for it.
Right?
I
But
don't know if you ever
thankfully, like they can survive underwater then with the mermaid, so it all works out.
I don't know if you ever watched Once Upon a Time, but in season
Yes.
2 they introduce, yeah, so the mermaids they introduced in season 2 also were like a pretty dark threat.
Oh, okay. It's been a long time.
I
I've
just
been
did a
thinking about
rewatch.
rewatching that, all except for the last season, which I don't know. But
We don't
yeah.
acknowledge that. We don't talk
Right.
about the last
Right?
season.
No. My favorite is Hook. I liked his
Mine too.
I liked his story.
His redemption arc was fantastic.
Mm-hmm. And actually that's a good segue because he kind of inspired so I have a Siren trilogy. I wrote maybe I'll have to flip this because I like how it shows stuff backwards. But so Siren's failure, the guy is kind of that Hook sort of character just because he's so, I don't know. I love the sassy, bantery, like love interests. Those are fun for me. So that combined with my love of mermaids, I decided I wanted to write something siren-y, so she's like a step more dangerous than a mermaid. Sometimes that line blurs a little bit with mermaid and siren though at this point, I think. But so they start out, it's an enemies to lovers thing. She tries to sink his ship and fails because he's her fated mate and she can't put him under her spell. So that's kind of where that one started, and you get to see stuff from there. And then the villain pushed his way in for a point of view, so there's a third point of view in there of the villain. Characters do that though, I swear.
Oh, they do. They have a mind of their own, and
Mm-hmm.
I have a villain doing that for my third book and in my superhero trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of fighting it because I'm like, is this going to work? I think it will, though.
Good. So I wanted to segue to your books a little bit. I know it's superhero based. So if you want to talk a little bit about that, give us the title. We can throw that out there as well.
Yes. So I write them under Kelly Edwards, and it's a superhero romance based trilogy. First two books are out. First book is called Scorcher. It's called Forces of Nature. Basically, the two main characters have fire and ice powers. So we've got opposites attract,
Mm.
supervillain, and a superhero who, when they first meet, don't know that they're supervillain and superhero. So they have to navigate that, the fact that they're on opposite sides and both keeping secrets from each other. It's a really fun trilogy. And as things develop, they kind of have that Nick and Nora energy where they have
Mm.
banter, they support
Mm-hmm.
each other, and just that couple kicking butt together by the second book. So it's
That's
fun.
fun.
Yeah.
Like an enemies to lovers sort of thing. But they don't know. So like secret identity, I suppose, would be
Yep.
the initial thing. Yeah.
Kind of hits on a
That's
lot of those
fun.
tropes.
Mm-hmm.
And you can find that and my cosplay stuff and my podcast stuff at phoenixsistersentertainment.com. That's the website that I run with my editor and creative partner.
Fun. Well,
Yeah.
that's cool. So I don't think I have anything else to talk about. And I think we covered a lot of the mermaids in cinema. We'll see what else they come up with, I guess, going forward. But they have some cool stuff to try to live up to because I think there are some great characters that they've already developed. Miranda, Madison, Ariel.
Yes.
So thank you very much for coming on the podcast today. I appreciate it. I will make sure to throw a link to your website in here as well so people can check out your books. And until next time. So thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.